Hi, my name is Taisiya Reid, and I'm a sophomore on the women's soccer team here at University of Delaware. My scary but phenomenal moment in African American history is the Tuskegee Untreated Syphilis study, a clinical research study that was deeply unethical. So sit back and follow me back in time. In the 1930s, the United States was wiped out by syphilis, a sexually transmitted infection that nearly affected 1 in 10 Americans, producing sores and rashes. After the first stages of syphilis symptoms, late stages were known to cause brain disorder, heart problems, and even deafness. In 1932, the U.S. Public Health Services launched an experiment in Tuskegee, Alabama. There were 3,500 people in the community. The town was a home to a large population of possible participants. Most of the men were poor sharecroppers. The PHS gathered with doctors and nurses to recruit 399 black men that were presumed to have a non-contagious late stages of syphilis, and 201 black men that were non-syphilitic for their control group. It was hard to slow the disease, which led to experts to announce being cautious for having unprotected sex. The uncertainty of this disease at the time raised questions. Would the affected individual's race change how the disease would progress? There was very little evidence to back up any theories, so the U.S. Public Health Service was on a mission to find a solution. The whole process of recruitment was based on a lie. Experts were there to observe the natural history of untreated syphilis. Researchers did not collect informed consent from participants, leading participants to thinking they would receive free drugs and be cared for their bad blood, as researchers would describe. When participants would pass away from the untreated study, those researchers would examine the body with the exchange of paying for funerals. Throughout the study, the researchers would state the men as volunteers to obscure any consequences that they were recruited in any way. At first, researchers gave the men existing treatments, but soon replaced them with placebos. With the false narrative of providing treatment to the participants, researchers performed painful and invasive spinal taps to investigate the disease more. Outside of the study, syphilis treatment was being advanced daily. Nearly a decade after the study began, penicillin became standard treatment for diseases throughout the study in 1947. The medicine was withheld as part of the treatment for being the experimenting group and control group. They wanted to see the study fully progress to the disease without interventions, allowing them to observe the long-term effects. During World War II, when some of the participants were drafted, the researchers prevented them from enlisting and possibly accessing any penicillin. The study continued through the 1950s, even when penicillin showed how it can manage late stages of syphilis. In July of 1972, Associated Press reporter Jean Heller broke the story, which led to international outcry and a series of actions by U.S. federal agency with a lawsuit. The study was finally shut down in 1972, 40 years after the study had begun and 30 years after a treatment had been found to treat syphilis.
Done cannot be undone, but we can end the silence. We can stop turning our heads away. We can look at you in the eye and finally say, on behalf of the American people, what the United States government did was shameful, and I am sorry.